So today we're going to be continuing our series on one pot, quick, easy dinners. And today we're going with one of my favorites, and that is shakshuka. So shakshuka is a dish of Middle Eastern origin. Most commonly there's some kind of minced meat. Sometimes it's lamb, sometimes it could be ground beef. And usually there's a poached egg on top. Now, obviously, since we're doing a plant-based version today, we're going to be omitting those and we're going to add other things to it. And even though we're omitting those ingredients, we could still pack a ton of flavor into this dish with the different spices and aromatics that we're going to be adding. Now, the staples of this dish are still the same when we're talking about the aromatics. So we're going to be using some red bell pepper today, along with some garlic and onion. I've done a video in the past on bell peppers and their nutrition content, but I love them. Fantastic source of vitamin C and potassium and a bunch of other vitamins and minerals as well. And we've also talked about the benefits of things like onion and garlic and other members of that family as well. Now, since we're obviously not using a ground meat, we're going to be using chickpeas as our protein source. So great source of plant-based protein, great source of fiber, minerals, and other vitamins as well. And then really we got to get to the other flavoring components of this dish. So we'll start off with some of the spices. So we're going to be using things like ground cumin, smoked paprika. We're going to be using two different types of chilies today. So one is some chili flakes and the other is a ground chipotle chili powder. We're also going to be using some ground coriander, and the mixture of all these spices is really going to round out that flavor in that kind of tomato base of this sauce. And one thing I've noticed as a side note is if you're ever making a tomato based sauce that's not Italian, it's probably going to have ground cumin in it or cumin seeds. You see this a lot in Mediterranean dishes, Middle Eastern dishes, and even some Asian dishes that use a tomato base for, say, a curry or a sauce. And then really we have our other flavoring agents here that are going to round out the dish based on how sweet these tomatoes are. So for example, I have some lemon and some maple syrup. So if these tomatoes tend to be a little bit more tart, I might add a little bit of maple syrup. And if they tend to be sweet, I might add a little bit more lemon juice. And to bring some salinity to this dish, we're actually going to be putting some chopped Kalamata olives in. So you definitely don't want to overdo it with the salt, because that saltiness from the olives is going to kind of get in to the shakshuka. So let's get right to it and start making this dish here. So we're going to use a pot or a large skillet and set it to a medium heat. We're going to add about a teaspoon of extra virgin olive oil, or you can saute with vegetable stock or water, that works too. And then once that's hot, we're going to be adding our aromatics. Once that becomes fragrant, we're going to be adding our tomatoes, our vegetable stock or water, and all of our spices. We want to add those spices early so those flavors can meld into this tomato base. So we want to bring this to a simmer and allow it to cook for a few minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, to allow those flavors to kind of combine. Now, I would not add any salt at this point, because next we're going to be adding our chickpeas and our chopped olive. And then we want to cook this all down for about 15 minutes or so. Then we could adjust our seasonings to taste based on how much salt those olives have given off. Here we can also add our lemon juice and maple syrup to make sure we can balance out any acidity or sweetness issues we might have come across based on, again, the flavor of our tomatoes. And then once this is done, you have a couple options here. So you can serve this as is, or you can pop this in the oven for about 5 minutes. I'm going to pop it in for about 5 minutes at 400 degrees to kind of bake the top a little bit. And then once that's done, we're ready to serve. So you can serve this a few different ways. I'm going to be serving it with brown rice and also a mix of chopped herbs. So today I have some mint, some parsley, and some basil. Now you can use any or all of these depending on what you like. You can also add, say, more chili flakes if you want it to be spicier, or you can omit them in the beginning if you don't prefer your dish to be on the spicier side. And to me, this is another one of those quick, easy, super flavorful, easy to make in bulk lunches or dinners that can just be so versatile, and to me is one of those dishes that I go back to again and again. And I think as you become more comfortable in the kitchen, you'll realize that you can mix and match maybe certain spices, certain flavors, and I think these one pot dishes are a great way to kind of get started and understand how to combine these flavor profiles. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. I know I did. I'm hungry. I need to go eat. I'll see you guys next Thursday.